Seafood production is the worst for humans, with not any doubt that for humanity and even more, recognized science. This revealing news will be an incredible disconcerting surprise. Who's the author even is sorry to hardly to have exposed. Because throughout human history it could not been able to conceive such a statement. And we have always been confident regular users and ignorant victims of all this more negative kind production, wrongly believing that is undoubtedly the most energy and positive healthy, but with whose it relation with do next exposed justification. It will remain as certainly the more negative and inferior integral general production in living environment, because to start explicitly justify it, enough is precisely start saying that in life there are two different world environmental levels and are considerable kinds of worlds, and easy definition of their qualities and hierarchies, whose superiority and dominant positive existential quality you should give it to the highest level and above ground level, where there is indeed to justify it. It generates and manages to produce a more positive overall quality than that existing in the produced in the bottom more negative environmental marine world, due to obvious reasons, that despite being logical and obvious course, never at all by anyone before it could be in some way so noted and identified, in relation to the importance of the general food definition, regarding its ignored effectiveness, objectivity, human health, and unimaginable partial contribution on the origin and evolutionary development of all deficiencies, disease, and human failing or defects, because to continue must to be known that the integral whole earth was spherical original material product and most dominantly positive, which result from multi-million millennial incandescent effectiveness waste assimilation, and then mortal extinction of it than previously was a first essential astro, sun or male star, but also after material dominant positive. And instead the entire liquid marine vessel comes from the most negative extreme coldness, achieved by such spherical integrity of virgin material, having been abandoned in her solitary retro. And so after being attractively espoused and adopted by the Sun Astro as a pride planet, this began with his positive energy properties, too, of systematic way retransforming such essential coldness of novel negative planet, in particular glacial material, and then with its dilution, create the liquid whole ambling vessel, to become base of more incipient production, first vegetable, and then animal. Even the most refined current evolutionary consequences at all relative concept. And hence whose reproductive quality achieved is significantly lower and more negative than the upper earth plane, because this product was retransformed achieved with evident more positive energy qualities, which in a lot elementally differ from marine, as is the essential air atmosphere, more purified liquid water exposed on up earth surfaces, and free of any dominant negative vestige, as is consistency, color, odor, taste, and positive energy content, and more direct solar reflection itself, what leads favorable throughout evolutionary development of any clear concept created, be it vegetable, animal or human, whose elemental compositionalistic qualities have therefore also more than one organic, conscious practice capacity and equal resistance and greater conservation to higher elementary, terrestrial conditions. Regarding an inferior marine, they obviously are relatively inconsistent, ephemeral lifespan, earliest death, quick easy decomposition, and also most extraordinary relative contagion power into environmental contamination. And as we cannot deny that just happens inside organic environment of all being inhuman. Because like meat of terrestrial animals, marine is consumed nutritionally also at ignored wasteful excess. Since we cannot deny that the human body is certainly the most extraordinary and special highest, by energetic concentrations environment, where all the most negative sooner it decomposes, and the more naturally positive better regularly it can deconserve, depending also on the usual culture food, and dominant integral quality achieved, which at present we cannot say, which is generally very clean and positive, but the opposite, inadvertently contaminated and dominant negative, and therefore then, the decomposition effectiveness that causes this marine products kind, with which it reproduces the liquid blood, and then eventually becomes organic assimilative flesh matter, bone, brain, genetic quality, etc., is undoubtedly worse than terrestrial vegetable and carnivorous animal cadaver. Because though the flesh of one and other not let to be residual dead matter, the quality of land animals even cadaveric, tested as that anyway contains more residual energetic positivism, less adherent lag, same stubborn resistance, and better conductivity to required lymphatic cleansing, exclusion and expulsion. Apart that with human ingestion of cadaveric remains mostly carnivores, integral animals features, although our corpses, incredibly acquired are in relative proportion, and marine are most unconscious and incapable than terrestrial. Apart that almost without exception all this are carnivores, as not it is with most terrestrial animals which are slaughtered for human consumption, and generally vegetarians, with less harmful relative effectiveness. Being then with all this perfectly justified the surprising assertion from theme, and so to understand and finally to accept it is proved true, for so even though we hurt, we recognize that such production, especially cadaverous, it is not certainly more than adequate for use as a basic human habitual food, considering that the most important pursued human-aware objective should be the healthier and conservative improving and capable effectivity, worthy of its more than superior hierarchical level as the supposed most rational species, for evidently never be more than adequate using an excessive habit. This more negative cadaveric food, it be this earthly or less seafood, because for all this and more you need to know about it. No doubt there it is that in whatever proportion, also thereby contribute to the origin and worse outcome of any deficiencies, defects, and disease that cancer is base, as consumed in animals cadavers that exactly is and it means.